Hi. So let's start with one of the easiest topic of the CAT preparation as far as arithmetic is concerned. Although it's the easiest topic, but it's a very important topic. The reason is we'll find the application of this particular topic in the future topics of the arithmetics like percentage, profit and loss, time in work, time, speed and distance, and we'll find the application of ratios in data interpretation also. So let's see what it is about. Ratio. What does it mean? How do we write it? If you remember in school days, we used to write a ratio like this A is to B. And the literal meaning of A is to B is what? It's a fraction. We divide the first term by second term, that is A by B. For example, if I say that the ratio of marks obtained by two students in a class is 2 to 3. So, while solving the question, this 2 to 3 should be written as 2 by 3. That means it should be written in the fractional form. Maybe I'll say that in a class there are 20 girls and 30 boys. So, what's the ratio? We'll say 20 by 30. Yes or no? So, it becomes 20 by 30, and this 20 by 30 can also be written as 2 by 3 because I can cancel out 0 0 from both the values. So this 2 by 3 is called the simplest form of a ratio. Normally, we write the ratio in its simplest form. Fine. So what does it mean? It's the comparison of quantities having similar units. Why I am saying similar units? The reason is you cannot compare my height with my age because both are different. Height would be in terms of inches of feet, and age would be in terms of years. So you cannot compare two different variables as far as ratio is concerned. So what is ratio? It's a tool used to compare two or more similar quantities. Fine. And and ratios are generally expressed in their simplest form. Now, why I'm saying simplest form? Because if you write it like 25 by 40, this is not the simplest form. I can still cancel out both the numbers by 5. This is 5 into 5 and this is 5 into 8. So the simplest form becomes what? 5 is to 8. So what does it mean? I can easily cancel out the common terms here. And the reverse is also true. If you get a ratio like A is to B, if you multiply both numerator denominator by the same number, it becomes AK by BK. And finally, when this KK will be cancelled out, we'll be left with the same ratio. Same thing will work for what? Division also. If you divide both numerator denominator of a ratio by the same number, finally what will happen? A by K by B by K. KK will be cancelled out. We'll be left with A by B. This is the property of a ratio. What it is? If you multiply the numerator and denominator of a ratio by the same number or divide it by the same number, the ratio remains unaltered. It will remain same. The value is not going to change. Fine. Let's try to understand a statement here. If the ratio of the boys and girls in a class is 3 to 2, what we can interpret from this statement? Now, if the boys and girls are in the ratio of 3 to 2, it does not mean कि boys 3 है और girls 2 हो. इसके तीन मतलब होते हैं. The first one is if boys and girls are in the ratio of 3 to 2, how do we write it? P by G will be equal to 3 by 2 mathematically, or I can express the number of boys in terms of girls also. It becomes 3 by 2 times of G. So if the ratio of boys and girls is 3 to 2, I can say that boys are 3 by 2 times of girls. This is the first meaning of this statement. Yes or no? The number of boys is 3 by 2 times the number of girls. What's the next meaning? If boys and girls are in the ratio of 3 to 2, what we can say, if there are 3x boys, then there'll be 2x girls. Yes or no? Or for every 3 boys, there'll be 2 girls in the classroom. That's why we assume values like this. If there are 3x boys, there'll be 2x girls. Yes or no? Third meaning. If there are 3x boys, 3 boys and 2 girls, can I say there'll be 5 students in the classroom? For every 3 boys, there'll be 2 girls and the number of students will become 5 there. So what's the third meaning? You can say that for every 5 students in a class, there'll be 3 boys and 2 girls. Yes or no? Let's try to apply this concept in few questions. The ratio of two numbers A and B is 2 to 3. Find the numbers. Now the first number and second number, their ratio is given. So can we say if the first number is 2x, second becomes 3x? Yes or no? Now can you give me the answers of these two values, 2x and 3x? No. Why? Because you don't know the values of this variable x. You don't know the values here. The ratio of two numbers is 2 to 3. They can be 2 and 3, or 20 and 30, or 4 and 6. You might get infinite such possible cases. So the answer becomes cannot be determined. What's the next one? The ratio of two numbers A and B is 2 to 3 and the sum is 150. Now let's try to understand this question. Let's say the first number is 2x and the second one is 3x because the ratio of these numbers is given equal to 2 to 3. And you also know their sum. So can we say 2x plus 3x must be equal to what? 150. That means effectively 5x becomes 150. So value of x becomes 150 by 5, which is equal to 30. What was your first number? It was 2x. So 2 into 30 gives you 60. The other one is 3x. 3 into 30 will give you 90. So what are the two numbers here? 60 and 90. What's the other approach? Let the first number be A, second be B. Their sum is how much? It's equal to 150. And we know that if the ratio of two numbers A and B is 2 to 3, what does it mean? A by B can be written as 2 by 3. Or in other words, A can be written as 2B by 3. So let's put the value of A here in this equation. What do you get? 2B by 3 plus B is equal to 150. This gives you 5B by 3 is equal to 150. So the value of B becomes how much? 90. Since the sum of these two numbers was 150 and the one of the numbers is B is 90, so A becomes how much? 60. You get the same set of values. Yes or no? You get the same values. Now let's look at one more method. We know that the numbers are in the ratio of 2 to 3. What does it mean? If the first number is 2, second will become 3. If the first is 2, second is 3, then the sum has to be how much? 5. But actually, the sum is given equal to how much? 150. So if there are two parts of first number, there'll be three parts of second, and the total number of parts will become 5. But actually, the total parts, the sum is given equal to 150. Can you make it 150? Yes. We'll multiply it by 30 so that the sum becomes 150. But you cannot multiply one of the numbers by 30 only. You need to multiply the other numbers by 30 also. So when you multiply 2 and 3 both by 30, this one will become 60 and this one will become 90. So I can say that if the first number is 60, second will be 90, and the sum becomes how much? 150. Yes or no? I hope all the three methods are clear to you. Now, there are three numbers. What's the ratio? 1 is to 2 is to 3. Let's try to do it in the third way. If the first number is 1, second becomes 2, third will become 3. What's their sum? 1 plus 2 plus 3 will give you how much? 6. But actually, the sum is given equal to 150. Can you make it 150? Yes, you need to multiply it by 25. When you multiply this by 125, about 25, you get 150. So all the three numbers should also be multiplied by how much? 25. Now, what is the answer when you multiply these numbers by 25? You get 25 here, 50 here, and 75 here. And let's cross check it. 25 plus 50 plus 75 is also equal to what? 150. So that's the easiest approach here. Yes or no? Now let's look at few more calculations we'll come across. Let's see. A is to B is given equal to 2 by 3. Find 1 by A is to 1 by B. In other words, he's asking the inverse ratio. What's the inverse ratio of A is to B? Inverse ratio of A is to B is given by 1 by A is to 1 by B. And literal meaning of 1 by A is to 1 by B is what? I'll say 1 by A divided by 1 by B. Now 1 by A divided by 1 by B will become B by A. That means you need to reverse this ratio. So the inverse ratio of A is to B is equal to what? B is to A. So what's the answer here? 1 by A is to 1 by B will become 3 is to 2. So what does it mean? सिर्फ ratio को उल्टा कर देना if there are two values A and B. That means if A is to B is given equal to 4 is to 7, then the inverse ratio of A is to B will become 7 is to 4. Yes, sir. Let's look at another one. A is to B is to C is 1 is to 2 is to 3. So what's the inverse ratio of A, B, C? He's asking 1 by A is to 1 by B is to 1 by C. Now, is it 3 is to 2 is to 1 according to the logic of the previous slide? Let's cross check it. I'm looking for the ratio of 1 by A. So 1 by 1. Next one is what? 1 by 2. Then we have 1 by 3. So I need to find this one. Yes or no? Let's see. 1 by 1 is to 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3. This is the correct answer. I know that. But this is not in the simplest form. Let's try to convert all these fractions in terms of integer. Now look at this denominators 1, 2, and 3. What's the LCM of 1, 2, 3? It's 6. So let's multiply all the values by 6 here. So what do we get here? 6 is to 3 is to 2. So getting a different answer. It's not 3 is to 2 is to 1. What does it mean? If there are two numbers A and B, then their inverse ratio would be B is to A. But if there are two numbers A, three numbers A, B, and C, their inverse ratio would not be equal to C is to B is to A. You'll have to calculate it in this way. Yes, sir. Let's see the given data also. A is to B is to C is given equal to 2 is to 3 is to 5. Find 1 by A, 1 by B, 1 by C. So how do we solve it? How do we solve it? I'll say it's 1 by 2 is to 1 by 3 is to 1 by 5. What's the LCM of 2, 3, 5? 2, 3, and 5. It's 30. So multiply all the numbers by 30. This will give you 15 is to 10 is to 6. So the correct answer becomes 15 is to 10 is to 6. Yes or no? Okay. Let's look at the another one. Now three ratios are given. A is to B is to C is equal to 1 is to 2 is to 3. Find A by B, B by C, C by A. I can directly put the values here. What is A? 1. What is B? 2. What is B? 2. What is C? 3. The third one would be 3 by 1. Now, these are not in the simplest form. I need to convert them in terms of what? Integers. Now, what's the LCM of 2, 3, and 1? It's 6. So, let's multiply all the three numbers by 6 here. When you multiply all the three numbers by 6, what do you get here? What do you get here? 6 into half is 3. 6 into 2 by 3 is 4, and 6 into 3 will give you 18. So then this answer A by B, B by C, and C by A will become 3 is to 4 is to 18. Let's look at one more application. A by B is given equal to 1 by 2, and B by C is given equal to 2 by 3. Now what does it mean? If A is 1, B will become 2. And whenever B is 2, C is 3. So look at the common term here. It's B. It's already same here. B is 2 here, B is 2 here. So how do we interpret these two statements? I can say that when B is 2, A will become 1 and C will become how much? 3. So whenever B is 2, A will be equal to 1 and C will be equal to 3. So what's the answer? 1 is to 2 is to 3. Coincidentally, the value of B was same in both the statements here, both the informations. What if the value of B is not same in this one? What's the value of B here? 2. What's the value of B here? 3. If you want to compare all the three variables on the same platform, the value of B should be same in both the statements. Now let's look at this. A by B is given equal to 1 by 2. Yes or no? A by B is given equal to 1 by 2. And B by C is given equal to 3 by 4. You want the combined ratio of A, B, and C. For that, the value of B has to be same. Has to be same in all the cases. So what's the value of B here? It's 2. Here it's 3. Let's make them equal. We'll multiply both by 3 and here we'll multiply it by 2. Why I'm multiplying these two values by 3 and 2? Because the LCM of 2 and 3 is 6. So I'll try to make B equal to 6 in both the cases. Now how do we read this? This is 3 by 6. A by B is 3 by 6. B by C is 6 by 8. So can we say when B is 6, when B is 6, C will be 8 and A will be equal to 3. So the answer becomes 3 is to 6 is to 8. So what should be the correct approach here? Always compare two ratios, look at the common variable, try to make the value of variable same in both the statements. Yes or no? What if you get more than three values here, like this one? How many ratios are given? One, two, three, four. Four ratios are given. And you are looking for the combined ratio of A, B, C, D, E. So let's look at these two statements first. It's given that A by B is equal to 1 by 2. A by B is equal to 1 by 2. Fine. And B by C is given equal to what? 2 by 3. B by C is given equal to 2 by 3. And C by D is given equal to 3 by 4. What about D by E? D by E is given equal to how much? 4 by 5. What do you want? A is to B is to C is to D is to E. Let's compare these two first. What's the value of B here? It's 2. What's the value of B here? It's 2. So directly I can say that A is to B is to C should be equal to 1 is to 2 is to 3. We have already done in the previous question. Now this information should be compared with the third ratio. What's the value of C here? It's 3. Here it is also 3. So now I can say that A is to B is to C is to D. Whenever the value of C is 3, B should be 2, A should be 1, and here I can say D should be 4. So this is 4. Now this information should be combined with the last one. What's the value of D here? It's 4. Here it is also 4. So directly I can say that the answer of A, B, C, D, E will become how much? 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4 is to 5. Now, this was easy because every time the values of these variables were same. Yes or no? Now, what if you get the information in this way? 2a is given equal to 3b. So, if 2a is equal to 3b, what is the ratio of a's to b? What I can do, b comes on this side, 2 goes on that side. We can easily write it as a by b is equal to 3 by 2. Or what else? If 2a is given equal to 3b, yes or no? 2a and 3b are given equal. अगर ये दोनों equal है, I can take it equal to either k, 100, y, z, anything. But the best way is what? Assume a number which is completely divisible by these coefficients. Now 2 and 3 are the coefficients of a and b. Their LCM would be 6. So take it equal to 6. So what I can say here? Look at this. It's given that 2a is equal to 6. If 2a is equal to 6, a becomes how much? 6 by 2. That is equal to 3. Yes or no? The next line. The next line is about 3b is equal to 6. So the value of b becomes 6 by 3. That is also what? 2. So what are the values of a and b? 3 and 2. So a by b becomes 3 is 2. So sometimes you won't get A is to B directly. You'll get the information in this. So the best way is what? Equate these two values with a number which is the LCM of the coefficients of A and B. Let's apply this in a bigger one. If 2A is equal to 3B is equal to 4C, it's given that 2A is equal to 3B is equal to 4C. Now what we can do, we can take it equal to either X, Y, Z, K, 100, anything. But the best way is what? Take a number which is completely divisible by 2, 3, and 4. So what's the LCM of 2, 3, and 4? What's the LCM of 2, 3, and 4? I'll say 12. So if 2A is equal to 12, directly you'll get the value A from here. How much? 6. Yes or no? What's the LCM of, and if 3B is equal to 12, if 3B is equal to 12, what I can say? B is equal to 12 by 3, that is equal to 4. What if I say 4C is equal to 12? You get C is equal to 12 by 4, that is 3. So B is equal to 4, C is equal to 3, A is equal to 6. So answer becomes 6 is to 4 is to 3 here. Yes, sir. This can be given in terms of word problem also. Now, what can be that word problem? I'll say that Mr. X divided his property among three sons A, B, and C in such a way that twice the share of A is equal to thrice the share of B is equal to four times the share of C. So it becomes 2A is equal to 3B is equal to 4C. You might get the word problem in this case. Okay. Now A by 2 is equal to B by 3. We have already solved this one. No. It's given that A by 2 is equal to B by 3. What is the value of A is to B? So the best way is what? You cross multiply them. You get 3A is equal to 2B. And we know how to solve this. We'll directly get A by B equal to 2 by 3. Yes or no? What if you get three variables there? A by 2 is equal to B by 3 is equal to C by 4. Now, A by 2 is given equal to how much? B by 3 is given equal to C by 4 is equal to what? Again, I can take any value here. I can take any value here. What kind of value? Let's say K, X, Y, Z, 100, 200, anything. So let's take it equal to K. Now, if A by 2 is equal to K, the value of A becomes how much? 2K. The value of B becomes how much? 3K. Value of C becomes how much? 4K. So what's the required ratio now? What's the required ratio now? I can say that ratio of A is to B is to C would be 2K, 3K, and 4K. And we know that in case of a ratio, we can easily cancel out the common terms here. When you cancel out these common terms, what do you get? 2 is to 3 is to 4. So the best way is what? Whenever the terms are given equal, take them equal to either x, y, z or the LCM of the coefficients of a, b, and c, which we did in the previous question. Now there are few terminologies. Let's try to understand those terminologies. The first one, in the ratio A is to B, A is called antecedent and B is called consequent. We call them numerator and denominator also. Yes or no? And the duplicate ratio of A is to B is nothing but A square is to B square. For example, A is to B is given equal to 4 is to 5. So the duplicate ratio will become how much? Let's say this is 4 is to 25. So the duplicate ratio will become 4 square by 25 square. Yes or no? What's the next one? Triplicate ratio, subduplicate ratio. Now the subduplicate ratio is what? Root A is to root B. That means now it becomes root 4 is to root 25. And root 4 is to root 25 will be 2 by 5. What's the third one? Third one is triplicate ratio. Triplicate ratio of A by B is A cube by B cube. That means answer becomes 4 cube by 25 cube. So similarly, there will be another term, subtriplicate. Subtriplicate ratio. Yes or no? Now the subtriplicate ratio is cube root of A. That means cube root of 4 by cube root of 25. This should be the answer. These are the few terminologies which can be used in a word problem. Reciprocal of A by B. That means inverse ratio. We know that. A by B, inverse ratio would be 1 by A is to 1 by B. How many types of ratios are there? How many types of ratio? The first one, greater inequality. This happens when the ratio is greater than 1. When the ratio is what? Greater than 1. The next one, lesser inequality. What do you mean by lesser inequality? Ratio of lesser inequality means what? A by B is less than 1. This is we call lesser inequality. So if A by B is greater than 1, I can say that A should be greater than B. If A by B is less than 1, I can say that A should be less than B. Yes or no? What is the third one? Equality. Ratio of equality. That means A by B must be equal to 1. Or in other words, I can say that A would be equal to B here. Now let's try to understand few important properties of all these three ratios. Fine. Ratio of greater inequality. That is what? When the value is greater than 1. Let's say it's 2 by 1. My ratio of greater inequality is what? 2 by 1 because numerator is greater than denominator. Let's see few properties here. When I add something here, what do I get? When I add 1 to both numerator denominator, this 2 becomes how much? 3. And this 1 will become 2. What's the value of 2 by 1? It's 2. What's the value of 3 by 2? It's 1.5. Yes or no? So can we say whenever we add a same number to both numerator denominator, in case of greater inequality, the value of ratio is going to decrease. Earlier it was 2, now it has become 1.5. Yes or no? Now what if I add 1 to both again? This 3 by 2 will become 4 by 3. Now look at this value. It will keep on decreasing. This 1.5 will become 1.33. Yes or no? Again, when you add 1, 1, you get 5 by 4, which is equal to 1.25. So I know that if I add the same quantity to both numerator denominator of a greater inequality, the ratio will decrease here. What if we subtract here? What if we subtract here? The ratio will be in the reverse order. That means if you add something, the value will decrease. And if you subtract something, the value will increase. Yes or no? If the same number is added to both numerator denominator, the value of ratio decreases. What about the lesser inequality? Same thing. In case of lesser inequality, what will happen? If you add something, earlier it's 1 by 2, means zero point 0.5. When you add something, 1 by 2 will become 2 by 3. That means the value will become 0.66 now. Now 0.66 is definitely more than zero point 0.5. So here the result will reverse. Now the answer will increase. The ratio will increase. When you add again 1, this 3 by 4 will become 0.75. That means again it has been increased. One more time, you get zero point 0.8. Yes or no? So what can be said here? In the ratio of lesser inequality, if the same number is added to both numerator and denominator, the value of ratio increases. And what if you subtract something? The result will be reverse. The ratio will decrease. So in case of equality, what will happen? If the same number is added to the numerator, same number is added to numerator and denominator, the ratio remains what? It will remain same. For example, 2 by 2. When you add 1, 1 to both, it becomes 3 by 3. When you add 1, 1 again, it becomes 4 by 4. All the values are equal to what? 1 and 1. So the answer remains same here. Now look at the application of this concept. Ratio of the ages of father and son 10 years ago was 5 is to 2. Ago. Now, what is this 5 is to 2? Ratio of greater inequality. This was the previous ratio. The present ratio will be what? You'll add something here. Earlier, their ages was, let's say, 5x and 2x 10 years ago. So, right now, the present ages should be 5x plus 10 and 2x plus 10. What could be the ratio of their ages today? This is my answer. But I cannot give you the answer. The reason is I don't know the value of x. X is missing in. Yes or no? That's why the question is what? What could be? What could be? In the previous slide, we discussed this property. In the ratio of greater inequality, whenever you add something to both numerator and denominator, what happens? The value decreases. Yes or no? So look at 5 by 2. The value is how much? 2.5. 5 by 2 means 2.5. That means now, after 10 years, the value will decrease. The value will decrease. Let's try to look at these values. What is 13 by 5? It's 2.6, which is more than 2.5. So this can't be the ratio of their ages 10 years right now. Yes or no? What is 7 by 3? What is 7 by 3? 7 divided by 3 will give you 2.333. This can be the ratio of their ages today. What about 11 by 4? 11 by 4 means what? 4, sorry, 2, this is 4, this is 3, this is 2.75, which is more than 2.5. Again, this is not possible. What about 8 by 3? 8 by 3 will be 2 by 3, which is equal to 2.666, which is also more than 2.5. And we know that the ratio should decrease. So only one option will satisfy this condition. That is 7 is to 3. Yes or no? It's a very important property. Normally, it does not strike you whenever the question comes across. Fine.